Thank you very much. Dear hosts at Carlsberg Foundation, dear Commissioner, dear guests, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak here about this important topic today. Denmark has built its wealth on knowledge, hard work, creativity, and entrepreneurship. These are the main ingredients in innovation, and they make out the recipe for future growth, job creation, and wealth. Therefore, excellent research, international competitive educations, and the ability to boost innovation are on the top of the Danish government's agenda. The government has as its goal to invest at least 1% of GDP in public-funded research. This gives Denmark a position in the absolute international elite. Matching specified research with imagination and entrepreneurship is the road to future growth. Therefore, innovation is high on the government's agenda. Innovation is the ability to transform new knowledge, imagination, and initiative into value for the benefit of society as a whole. This transformation of new knowledge is done every day in the educational institutions, as well as in small, medium, and large companies across the country. To innovate by nature, a dynamic and fluent concept. Innovation needs room, innovation needs flexibility, and freedom to bloom. When trying to support innovation with politics, we always face an inherent risk of creating inflexibility and stiffness, actually counteracting our purpose. This is why I find innovation one of the most interesting and also most important, but also challenging political tasks. One of my favorite stories about innovation is the story about Coloplast. A home nurse called Elise saw how her sister was affected by colon cancer and the stoma she was left with. Elise invented a smell-neutral plastic stoma, which gave her sister her social life back. This innovation grew into Coloplast, one of Denmark's most successful companies today. A story of innovation in the 1950s might seem hopelessly outdated in a conference focused on the fourth industrial revolution. Much has changed in the last 60 years, but still, much has stayed the same. New ideas are still impossible to predict. The biggest mistake politicians can make is to try and predict, or even worse, manage innovation. Innovation and disruption will continue to surprise us. The central political challenge in the fourth industrial revolution is to create a political framework where innovation can bloom and create value for society. A framework which does several things. Firstly, it must accommodate the unpredictability of innovation. Secondly, it must support the match between information, imagination, and initiative. And finally, it shall create value for the society that we cherish in Denmark. If we succeed in creating such a political framework, I believe that we can make Denmark one of the strongest participants of the fourth industrial revolution. As Minister of Higher Education and Science, my eye is fixed on three central indicators for better and more open innovation in the future. Firstly, we need excellent research and knowledge of high international standards to function as a base of the complex innovation that will be required. The ability to generate and use knowledge is key to growth, is key to job creation and wealth in the future. The best way to spread knowledge in society is to give young people an excellent and internationally competitive education, which they bring along in their professional career. The world is transforming in a still more rapid race, as we just heard Mr. Bissenbacher tell us. Innovation, disruption, and the fourth industrial revolution are changing the ways we work, create, and live. Sometimes the speed of change leaves us short of breath. But even though things are changing fast, some things are staying the same. Deep, excellent core competences are the foundation from which collaborative innovation will grow. Therefore, one of my main tasks is to foster high-quality educations which can supply the fourth industrial revolution with excellent Danish innovators. It is well known that Danish research meets excellent international standards and has a high global impact. This is, of course, very important to maintain. I agree with Professor Bissenbacher and many others today that we need research and education at the highest level in order to meet the needs of modern innovation. Secondly, we need to nurture entrepreneurial spirits in our young students and company owners. We must create companies that grow and continue to do so. It is no good that we create the foundation for better innovation if too few Danes have the will and the courage to innovate. We need more people like Elise from Coloplast to disrupt status quo and seize new opportunities. No company with more than 1,000 employees has been created in Denmark since the 90s. This is worrying. In Denmark, we are proud of our many small and medium-sized companies. But other countries continuously succeed in producing new large-scale businesses. Therefore, we need to look into the reasons that seem to hold Danish companies back. We must find out why the prospects for growth in digital companies are so much better in the US than in Denmark and Europe. Thirdly, and maybe most importantly, we need to strengthen the bonds of collaboration and the flow of knowledge between researchers, businesses, and society. Historically, Denmark is a society of trust, equality, and flat organizational structures. A society of collaboration and creativity. In the last 15 years, Danish universities have become increasingly better at sharing their knowledge. A recent survey showed that almost 60% of Danish researchers had contributed to projects with private companies within the latest 3 years. But we can do better. One way to strengthen innovation is to strengthen the accessibility of knowledge. Open access to research and data is high on the agenda for the Danish government as well as for the European Commission. By opening up the stream of research, knowledge and data to the public, we give fuel to new forms and methods of collaboration. I look very much forward to listening to Commissioner Moedas later on today and hear his view on the potential of Europe when it comes to more open collaboration. As I said in the beginning, a lot might have changed in the last 60 years. But surprising disruptions and the need for core competences excellent research and collaboration will always lie at the heart of innovation. With our open, collaborative and creative society, it is my firm conviction that Denmark has a strong starting point for the fourth industrial revolution. The challenge is to create a political framework which allows open innovation to bloom and supports its progress without counteracting creativity. If we succeed in doing that, I do believe that Denmark is on track for strengthening growth, job creation and wealth. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ulla Tørnæs. We just have time for just a few questions or two. I think that maybe one of the questions that would be in the minds of people here today is that if you say innovation is so important to this society, why did the government cut the public funding?
That is, that was a clear political priority. When we came back, took over government, we promised that we would prioritize core welfare issues like the health and also the care for elderly people. And when it comes to politics, it's priorities, and the money that are available is the money that is available. And then the government looked at where do we think we can actually find resources to give an economic, how can I say, to the health sector. It was research and education that was asked to deliver. And that's how it is. But it shall, of course, be seen on the background of a very high status. As I said, Denmark is compared internationally spending a lot on both research and education. So that's the reason why. I mean, I would have preferred that we could, of course, spend more money, but that's not the actual situation. And I guess
so was it a one-off, or are we going to see it again for next year's budget and next year's budget? And
no promises can be given when it comes to the budget, to the budget that is going to be adopted in Parliament. I mean, I'm not standing here promising that you will get more money next year, because this is not. It's not. I mean, I guess I could be very popular if I was saying this today and get a big applause. but that's not the way I'm working as a politician. I don't think that's trustworthy.
One last thing regarding promises. The government's working on this big 2025 plan with lots of reforms as to how Denmark is to survive as a good welfare country in future. You talked about the political framework for innovation and growth. Can you tell us a little bit about what you have coming up in that 2025 plan regarding, innovation, the political framework? No? No promises there either?
No. I mean, the way the government is working is that this is an internal work that is going on right at this very moment inside the government. And you as a journalist perfectly, I mean, I guess you are trying to fish to get something from that can be broadcasted later on, but I'm sorry, no.
But could people be optimistic about what's coming up?
Hopefully.
All right. Well, that's something. Thank you so much.
Hopefully. I mean, the 2025 plan is a huge plan. Hopefully it's going to be a huge plan, setting the directions for developments the developments of this country. And it's about the future of this country. And when you're talking about the future, you're also talking about job creation and job creation, wealth, etc. You need research and good education institutions, or else you will not reach your goals.
Let's see if you manage. Thank you so much, Ulla Tørnæs. Please give her a hand.